people for the same territory. To understand its origins, let's retrace the history of the Jewish people on a map. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict will be explained in a following video. The story begins in 750 BC when the Near East was divided into many small kingdoms and city-states. They were wedged between the Assyrian Empire to the north and Egypt in the south. Among them was the Kingdom of Israel, whose people worshipped several gods, including Yahweh. In 722 BC, the capital Samaria fell to the Assyrian Empire. Part of the population then fled to the Kingdom of Judah and Jerusalem, but they would be followed by the Assyrian army as they continued their expansion towards the south. The region then remained under their control for a century until the fall of Nineveh to the Babylonians.
You hear what he's saying? He point blank said the northern kingdom migrated to Judah. If he didn't know that, now he's not a biblical person I would use. This guy, he has his own agenda because he's telling you they worship many gods. We know that ain't true.
That ain't true, right? So he ain't got no dog in the fight.
No, he's not going to help us. He's just telling a history lesson. This is a secular historian that's just telling facts.
My Lord. Hey, Sister Arbino, God bless you, sis. Welcome in. All right, let's continue. Here we go.
Wait, who is this dude? Who is
Egypt and Babylon would then...
Wait a minute, say that again, Bo?
I'm saying, who is this dude with this historian map? It sounds like some Panah stuff.
Brother Brian, you want to explain to him real quick who this person is?
I'm not real sure who he is. I think he's just a historian that's reading and going through history of the Jews, you know, from a secular view, because they do view that the Torah was created around 300 BC, and it might trigger some of us, but just understand, all he's doing is showing where the copies where they first copied them all down. We know Ezra copied them down, but they had the Torah before then.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
All right, here we go.
Compete for territories of the old empire, but the Babylonians quickly take over and project their power in the region. Jerusalem resists this new rule and rebels. The Babylonian army then returns to besiege and destroy the city. Much of the population is then moved to the capital. In 539 BC, the Achaemenid Persian Empire takes over Babylon. The new king authorizes a free passage for Judeans, prompting many to return to Jerusalem. They would then rebuild the city and organize the foundations of Jewish culture by building the Temple of Solomon.
They don't understand this either. They were allowed to listen because Assyria had the northern kingdom, or either they migrated back to Judah. But they were still connected to Jerusalem. The moment Jerusalem was allowed the free passage, they came back. You know why? Because according to Deuteronomy, I think it's 16, the law of return, you have to come 3 times a year to be part of the congregation. If you're not coming 3 times a year, you have canceled the covenant.
That's right. That's Deuteronomy 16:16. Let me grab that real quick so you all can see that we're not lying. Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 16. And it reads here, listen. 3 times a year, all your males shall appear before the Lord your God at the place which he chooses, at the feast of unleavened bread, at the feast of weeks, and at the feast of booths, and they are not to appear before the Lord empty-handed. Everyone shall give as he is able, in accordance with the blessings of the Lord thy God, your God, which he has given you. So I mean, bro.
So a secular historian is proving the Bible, right?
Yeah.
And watch what happens.
Okay, here we go, y'all. We only 1 minute and 44 minutes in, and look how much we pulling out. Here we go.
And writing the Torah.
I'm gonna take that back.
for Judeans, prompting many to return to Jerusalem. They would then rebuild the city and organize the foundations of Jewish culture by building the Temple of Solomon and writing the Torah. In 334 BC, the ambitious young Macedonian king Alexander the Great set out with his army to conquer the known world. In just over 10 years, he rakes up a huge territory and builds many cities. But exhausted by conquest, he died at age 32 in Babylon without an heir of governing age. The empire was then divided by his generals into various Hellenic kingdoms. Judea came under the control of the Ptolemaic dynasty. A Jewish community settles in the new city of Alexandria.
Hear that? Hear that,
and the Torah
Sister?
is translated into Greek.
Do you hear that, Sister? Here's what you need to understand about these. As it goes on, understand these are the Sephardic Jews. These are the Sephardic Jews. This is what Sephardic Jews means.
My Lord, keep talking, Brother Brown. Let me get some water.
These are also what we call the Mizraim Jews. The Mizraim, the Sephardic Jews. These are the Jews that were in Alexander, Egypt. When time goes on, the Muslim empire rises up and pushes the Jews to different areas. Why did they come to Christian? Because at first, the Christians would allow the Jews to come. But they also would prefer to stay in Arab lands after so long.
Wow.
There
So
was
there was
one
Jews
point
in
not-
so there were Jews in Egypt time. Wow.
At the time of Jesus, they was known as 1.9 million Jews in Alexander, Egypt. That was second biggest population outside of Jerusalem at the time, and the other one was Babylon. These Jews were in Alexander, Egypt. Why do you think the Septuagint was written? This is something I'm telling you, if you quiz these people on this stuff, they don't know.
And they hate
They don't even look it up.
They hate that Septuagint, bro, because that Septuagint talks a lot, tells a lot, and shows that these people are downright lying. My Lord, listen, y'all, we having a whole history lesson here. Let's not play no games. Oh my God. Listen. Okay, so let's continue. Here we go.
Following a war against the Seleucid dynasty, Hellenic and Jewish culture developed friction to the point that one of the altars of the Temple of Solomon in Jerusalem was dedicated to the worship of Zeus.
Hear that?
It said Hellenists and Jews were fighting. That sounds like Acts 6, right?
Yep.
Acts 6. They didn't like each other. They was against each other.
Traditionalist.
Okay, hold on. Let me grab the scriptures. Hold on.
Go to Acts 6 real quick.
You want to read it, bro, when I bring it up?
Yeah, I got it. Watch this. It says, now at this time, as the disciples were increasing in number, hello, Brother Brian, a complaint developed on the part of the Hellenistic Jews against the native Hebrews because their widows were being overlooked in the daily serving of food.
My Lord.
So we see the friction even at the time of Christ between the Hebrews and the Greeks. You know, they probably thought they were better than everybody else because we speak Hebrew.
Ooh wee! History will tell on you, won't it? Somebody lying.
Oh yeah, it's a snitch.
It's a snitch. It's a snitch. And history, you can't give no stitches to that part. Listen, come on, y'all. Let's find out more. What else they've been lying about?
Anti-Hellenic Jewish militia is organized and takes control of Jerusalem in 164 BC. The temple is restored and the kingdom of Judea becomes independent. A century later, the region was conquered by the Roman army. The Judeans would organize two major revolts against the new regime, which were violently crushed. The first revolt in 66 provoked the siege of Jerusalem, followed by the destruction of its temple. The only wall of the enclosure that survived would become known as the Wailing Wall.
Pause.
There you go.
And notice
There
how I
you
say,
go.
notice that 68 AD with it. Notice that.
Pause.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah.
What?
We
What?
know about
68.
this, sister. This is our bread. Fastball right down the middle. So Sherry knows about all this.
Hold on. You know my questions, Brother Brian. You know when I'm going to come with the same questions that I asked before. Now, look how big this empire is, this Roman Empire, by the way, which Jerusalem is in the heart of, by the way. Hello. And when they pissed the Romans off, and it started roughly around 66, and it kicked off truly 70 AD to the T. But hold on. Question. They said that they migrated. Now, family, take a look at your screen. Let me get rid of this caption thing here for a second. Family, I'm trying to get rid of this thing here. Dismiss. Thank you. Now, family, take a look at your screen. Look at where Jerusalem is, right? And these nut rags are trying to convince you, right, that these people, right, Hebrew Israelites, quote unquote, migrated from Jerusalem to the west point of Africa. How did they get past the Romans, by the way?
They swam across.
They swam across. A lot of damn swimming.
They were strong. They were pulling Michael Phelps.
Michael Phelps.
They were
But
pulling
you know
Michael
that
Phelps.
was But you know, man, they had a long way to go. But yeah, you know what's so crazy right here is it was prophesied that all these nations would come against them.
Correct. And we see that in the biblical text.
But, I
Because
mean,
they
that's
rejected.
We see a lot of this stuff
hmm
that's already been fulfilled, Brother Brian. And not to mention, like I said, how did they get past the Romans when they pissed them off? Let me just say this: the Roman Empire at that particular time, they were having an economic downfall. They were going through financial issues, right? Look how big this empire is. And majority of it is regarding funding their armies. That's number one. Number two, when they seen that Rome was in a civil war, that's when the Jews said, we're going to try to, raise a revolt. Okay, so they do this. And what happened? Rome comes in, Tiberius and all them come in. I think it's Tiberius, if I'm correct, come in. And what happens? They surround Jerusalem as it was what? Prophesied. When Jesus gives this warning in Luke 21.
bingo.
Hello. Oh, God. Listen, Brother Frank.
Yeah.
No.
And so Sherry, I gave you this a couple weeks ago in Bruce Sheely's church history. It plainly says the Jews at this time decided when they saw that the Christians fled for Pella, which Jesus told them to flee, they viewed this as being a traitor to Judaism, and they disowned Christianity from then on out.
Yes, they did. Because they were flagging some of them to come back to even help, and they wasn't getting involved in it. But bro, hold on. I got one more question. I got 50,000 more, but I'm just going to say one more question. The 70 AD period. Now, bro, you see what Jerusalem is. We're talking about men, women, and children. And damn, if a woman is pregnant, you telling me that these people going to swim across or walk all the way, because all of this is the Sudan, just about. Northern Africa.
That's the Sahara Desert right there.
They're going to migrate on foot with no resources, no food, no water, no extra clothing. You telling me they going on foot? They going to migrate all the way to the west point of Africa? That don't make no sense.
Wow. They better have some hell of a quail meat.
Bro,
They would have some hell of a quail meat, bro. They had it. They did quail meat.
Listen, bro, the trip in the wilderness wasn't even this long. Come on, 40 years, that's one thing. But listen, what could should have took them 40 days to get to the promised land. They took them 40 years because God kept sending them in a circle because of what? Their unbelief. But that's a whole separate case. That's even shorter compared to this distance. And nobody has been able to answer me how they get past the Romans, Terrence. Huh? How they get past them?
They didn't. They didn't get past the Romans. They either had to
Oh,
submit or that was it.
okay. PJ said it's impossible for them to do it. Thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hold on, brother Brian. I gotta go back and get him. He done fell out of here. Hold on. Okay, there you go. Okay, come on here, brother Brian. Lead the way, sir. So we
I'm
had the
hoping my Wi-Fi. I'm hoping my Wi-Fi don't kick in because it looks like it's gonna try to.
that's okay. I ain't gonna do
That's
nothing but
what's
bring.
happening. My Wi-Fi is going on and off, and with my phone, I need to get on there in the computer. Oh, but yeah.
What's going on here, bro? Cause somebody lying. Uh-oh. Okay, he said his Wi-Fi was gonna kick in. Okay, there
Hey,
you
you hear me?
uh-huh. We
I'm
can
back.
hear.
All right, Luke 21, was it 21, 24? The verse they
Uh-huh.
always use. All right, let's take this verse and what Jesus told them to do. And this one they don't want to deal with me on. All right, and it says, and they will fall. Who is they this year right here? Who's they?
They will be Jerusalem, the Jews.
Yep, the Jews will fall by the edge of the sword and will be led captive into all the nations.
Mm,
And yet Jerusalem will be trampled underfoot by the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles are fulfilled.
uh-huh.
All right, then he goes on to the next verse. There'll be signs in the sun and the moon and the earth and distress among the nations and
Mhm.
perplexity at the roaming of the sea and waves. People fainting, fear, and expectations of things that are coming upon the world. For the powers, the heavens will be shaken, and there will be see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of the power of the great glory. Now we know that this hasn't happened, so we got to go back to verse 24 and look at what we call the time of the Gentiles. Well, the time of the Gentiles, my understanding is someone else is ruling over Jerusalem. Is that who rules over Jerusalem now? The Muslim. How do we know this? Perfect example. The Dome of the Rock sits on
Yep.
top of Jerusalem.
That's right. That's right. That's
So
right.
that means the Gentiles rule on that Dome of the Rock.
Mm-hmm.
So that passage that they love to point out hasn't completely been fulfilled. I always hear it. Well, they're all coming. They're already there. No, they're not. They're not in Jerusalem. The point was God does not care about nothing but Jerusalem. He told them this. Jerusalem.
My Lord.
But keep playing it.
Okay, my Lord. Now hold on before I keep playing. You know I got more to say about the 70 AD. Just a little bit more. So let me drag our butts right back here to this video because I want to look at this. This map here is stirring me up. It is. This picture, this right here got me going. All right. So their story is that they migrated over from Israel straight all the way through. How? We don't know. Did they swim across? Did they walk through the Sahara Desert on foot and with no resources, no water, no none of that? And then on top of that question, how the heck did they get past the Romans? Right?
Yep.
Not to mention on top of that, Brother Brian, we still see this war going on for how long?
Yep.
Roughly 62 years. We got the
Yep.
Battle of Masada. We got the Battle of Kittos. We got the Battle of Bar Kokhba. The Battle of Masada is 73 AD. What the Sakari Zealot Jews who kicked this mess
Yep.
off, by the way, and they retreated to Herod's temple and had the damn nerve to commit suicide, by the way. Then we
Yep.
got the Battle of Kittos, 115 to 117 AD.
Mm-hmm.
That went on. And then we got the Battle of Bar Kokhba. And if Bar Kokhba was to win the war against Rome, they were going to declare him to be the Messiah. So we still got Jews in the land. Something ain't right, Brother Brian.
Yep.
Somebody is lying, bro.
And add some to it. The ones in Jerusalem did not affect the ones that were in Alexander, Egypt.
My Lord.
And the Babylonians, no, because why would, I mean, unless you was just wanting to revolt to be a Jew and try to take back old Jerusalem, why would you even care? I mean, you're in Alexander, Egypt. You're under Roman Empire. All you got to do is pay your taxes and you live in the dream. These people want Jerusalem back. That's the reason they were fighting for it. They felt like Rome was overextending their reach. Well, some Jews from other countries came to Jerusalem to fight. That was the whole purpose. But they didn't know every Jew in these foreign lands didn't come to fight. I mean, just like now, would you go somewhere and fight if you don't have to? Not me.
No, not at all. And not to mention, we got historian record or recording from who? Eusebius.
Yeah.
What? And I got that, brothers and sisters. Oh, I sure do. Yes, sure, love, got that for you. Sure
Yep.
do. Go ahead, bro. You got it, because I'm up here pulling it up. Go ahead. You go ahead and talk to them for a second. Go ahead.
Well, like I said, I got that book because Bruce Shealy, Church History, he says it. He says they viewed this as being a traitor. And this is one of the problems after this, and I want everybody to listen to this one. After this, when Judaism was declared to where it no longer associated with Christianity, right?
Okay.
Once this happened, persecution were coming on the Christians after this. Why? Because the Jews had freedom with Rome. They were allowed to do their religion in Rome. Nobody stopped the Jew from worshiping Judaism in the Roman Empire. Judaism continued in the Roman Empire. They had freedom until Christianity became popular after the Council of Nicaea. Certain countries that were, Christians persecuted the Jews. That's what you're going to see in this history. But originally, it was the Jews that were persecuting the Christians. How do we know this? The Bible. What did Jesus say? They will chase you from city to city and persecute you in their synagogues. Who was he talking to? He was talking to his disciples who were Jewish, who became Christian. He said, they're your own people. Your mother or your father is going to persecute you. Jesus gave them the warning.